Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Watchers Livestream for April 29th, 2024. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And, of course, we are your hosts. We hope you're having a fantastic night so far. Or if you're watching this later, whatever day you're watching it, I hope it's going fantastically so far.
Mm-hmm.
But before we jump into, we have a lot of stories to talk about today and a lot of movies to talk about. We saw between the two of us. So let's go ahead and talk to Kevin. How you been over the last week? What's been going on?
Doing nothing. I mean, I just literally got like a minute back from Disneyland, so that was a fun little trip.
Pretty close.
I know. Well, it wasn't our fault. It was the light's fault. It's always the light's fault.
Yeah, it's always that.
But no, nothing else going on. I did watch a little bit more movies than last week, so I'm pretty proud of myself there. And I just started my next semester of school as well, so that's it.
Oh yeah, awesome. As far as me, I literally not a whole lot going on. I mean, the only thing that's kind of related is I've kind of made a couple of purchases to add to the old movie collection behind me over the last couple of days. I think I've bought like 7 movies, so kind of filling out the collection a little bit. Can never complain with that. So, but let's go ahead, and we got a lot of stories to talk about this week. So let's go ahead and just dive right in with one of the ones that's kind of important. First off, that is that Tarantino's now canceled The Movie Critic would have been a meta celebration of all of his films and characters, kind of bringing them all into the fold in some way. We don't know how that would have been or what that storyline could have been. Perhaps maybe it was a film critic that was reviewing all of his films or something. We never know. We'll never get to see it. But also did come out, it didn't really need a whole story for this, but he was looking at David Krumholtz for a character in this movie. David Krumholtz was one of the scientists in Oppenheimer, which many people probably know him best for. So kind of cool. Maybe he would have played the movie critic. Who knows? But yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see this movie, which I was really looking forward to. But hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is, unfortunately. Next up, The Boy and the Heron arrives on 4K and Blu-ray on July 9th, 2024. The digital version is available June 25th. I mean, if you guys haven't seen this movie, please go watch it. It was a great theater experience. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Maybe one of the better animated movies that we had last year. So,
yeah, it is the Academy Award-winning animated film for last year. Of course, pretty controversial that it won, just because I think a lot of people, I think both of us included, think that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was the better movie. But this makes sense. It was supposed to be his last film, so it is a very good movie, though. And if you haven't watched it yet, it is very, very much worth it. And can't wait to add it to the collection, because I think it's one of the only Ghibli movies I won't own. So,
okay.
But next up, we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to the trailer section. But the upcoming Mufasa, The Lion King, which is the live-action prequel to the live-action Lion King that came out before the pandemic, has added Mads Mikkelsen, Thandaway Newton, Keith David, and Blue Ivy Carter, who is the child of Beyonce and Jay-Z, has been added to the cast, among others, kind of really growing out the cast roster for the movie. I mean, we gotta be real. Mads Mikkelsen's playing the villain. He always plays the villain and everything. He is. So, I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to the trailer section, but interested to see what this movie is going to have to say and what it's going to do.
I mean, am I looking forward to it? I'm going to say no, because live action.
Totally fair.
Live action Lion King wasn't my thing. I didn't even see the first one. But, these guys are going to have to persuade me, and hopefully they do, so I can go see it. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, check it out.
Yeah.
And make up your mind for yourself.
All right. And Kraven the Hunter delayed from August to December. The Karate Kid reboot pushed to 2025. I don't know. These Sony Marvel movies are just like, keep pushing them back. Maybe they'll get better. I don't know.
I mean, Madam Web was pushed back, and we saw how that came out.
I don't know.
I mean, I heard pretty somewhat decently positive kind of rumblings from early sneak previews of Kraven the Hunter, like test audiences, but you can't take test audience reactions seriously. They may be false stories to drum up hype. So, but like there's been some positive musings here and there, which, I mean, it's got a great actor in Aaron Taylor Johnson, so who knows? Could be good,
Yeah.
but I don't think we need another Karate Kid movie. But it does have, I believe Ralph Macchio is in it and Jackie Chan. So I don't know. Could be good.
Could be good, but I mean, not necessary. I don't think.
Yeah, definitely not necessary. Next up, we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to the trailer section. But The Glass Worker is an upcoming Pakistani animated film. It is their first hand-drawn animated feature film ever from the country, which is pretty huge. And again, we'll talk about this when we get a little bit to the trailers, but it looks just like a Ghibli movie.
Oh, really?
Like honestly, if Miyazaki retires and Ghibli kind of just fizzles out and kind of doesn't really hit that same level, it looks like this studio could at least visually hit the same high bar. So it's kind of exciting.
Good for them. I really want to check it out. So
yeah, definitely need more foreign films in the American market. So
yeah,
we're starting to see a lot more of it. But
I mean, look at Godzilla -1.
Yeah, and then RRR like a year or two ago, and like every anime movie that comes out gets into the top 5 box office films. Like people want foreign films. So
yep, exactly. All right. Death Day 3 receives a positive update from actress Rebecca Roth.
Jessica.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a long day at Disneyland for
Jessica. Waiting on Blumhouse and Universal is what she says. Who did it call her? I'm so sorry.
You said Rebecca instead of Jessica. That was.
Oh, hey. I put the R in front of it.
It's all good, man. I get
Whatever.
you. But yeah, I mean, I've heard decent things about the first two. I haven't seen them myself, but the fact that there is want and demand for a third one.
Yeah,
sure.
I saw one. I don't think I saw two, and one was good. Did it need a sequel? Probably not. Haven't seen the sequel yet, so I can't determine if it's good or not. But I mean, go for it. If everybody wants it, make it.
Yeah, especially if it's low budget and it'll make its money back. And I heard the second one's actually pretty good. So I don't know. Go ahead, Rick. Let's go ahead and take a quick break right there because we do have some comments coming in. Matt Walls, hello. How are you doing, sir? Can't wait to add The Boy in the Hair to my collection.
Yeah.
Us neither. We can't wait. Matt Walls, the Glass Worker movie has been in development for 6 years. Wow, I didn't know it was in development for 6 years. I didn't read that much into the article. Very much looking forward to it, though. We'll talk about that in the trailers, but yeah, very much looking forward to that. Alrighty, moving right along into the next batch of stories here. That's Happy Death Day. Aaron Sorkin is currently writing The Social Network 2. He was the screenwriter that did The Social Network 1. However, the second one will be a sort of sequel to the first movie. This one focusing on Facebook's use and how it helped, essentially, to help the January 6th insurrection happen. And Sorkin has said that he blames Facebook for January 6th, before saying you're going to need to buy a movie ticket to find out why. So Aaron Sorkin has not written a bad movie, and he is also the co-creator of West Wing. He is a very good writer. Some of my favorite and some of the best movies in a long time have been written by him. So very excited to see what ends up coming from this. So
good. Yeah, I haven't seen Social Network 1, so maybe I have to hop on that just to see it, how it is. And when this comes out, probably go see it as well.
Maybe that'll be Garrett's pick for Kevin if it wins a wheel spin. But yeah, moving right along.
All right. And Apartment A7A, a prequel to Rosemary's Baby, is releasing on Paramount Plus before Halloween, and it stars Julia Gardner. Didn't know this was happening.
I didn't know either, actually. I think this is the first real news we're getting of it, which makes me think that they're not too confident in it.
Unfortunately.
And it's also going straight to streaming, which, to be fair, we've had a lot of straight to streaming movies that are really good. So, we all learned from the blunder with Prey. That should have been released in theaters. But, I mean, it's cool that we're getting a somewhat sequel to Rosemary's Baby, or a prequel, sorry. But we'll have to wait to see if there's a trailer, because... not a whole lot to go on just yet.
And before this Halloween, next Halloween, it just says before Halloween. So
this Halloween, it is supposed to be.
This Halloween. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I doubt people will stream it, but I don't think it's going to be good if it's going straight to streaming.
Yeah, I kind of have the same like kind of suspicions, like Pet Cemetery, Bloodlines, and things like that. How those kind of like those legacy sequels or remakes or whatever. So who knows? We'll wait to see when we get a trailer.
Yep.
Next up, Sean Levy, director of the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine, has stated that no MCU knowledge is needed to enjoy the film. Which
love it.
Sure,
love it. I mean him saying that is going to put more people's in the chairs at theaters. I feel like
I feel like that could work. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't know how much of the MCU it's actually going to affect. We know that he's going to be in the MCU after this, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the movie. That's really the biggest thing, which is interesting because I feel like you need to watch Loki to understand a lot of things going on in this movie. But hey,
Loki season 1, but it was good. Loki season 1 was probably one of my favorite MCU.
And Loki season 2 is pretty good too.
I don't think I saw it. Did I see it? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't watch TV with you, so.
But the next one is another Evil Dead is in the works with Francis Gillespie.
I think.
Gillespie on board to write and direct. I mean, Evil Dead Rise was great, so if he can reenact that in some other way with different atmosphere in different places, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I was actually reading a part of this article was Sam Raimi, who was the director of the original 3 Evil Dead films, was approached by Gillespie with the pitch, and apparently Gillespie's pitch was so good that they said, yeah, let's go ahead and do the movie. So good. Hopefully that means it's going to be a good movie, because man, Sam Raimi was singing his praises. So let's go ahead and take a quick pause. We've got some more comments in here. Our good friend Joey still need to see HDD 1 and 2 Happy Death Day. Brushed off as a Groundhog Day knockoff, but I've heard good things. Yeah, I've heard it's basically the horror, serial killer Groundhog Day. Wonder how many projects are going to be dumped when Paramount gets bought. Heard the CEO just straight up left. Who knows? Man, the Paramount mergers have been going in and out for so long. I don't think it's going to happen. So, good friend Nadia, did Kevin mention that he sped like a speed demon to make it to the stream? Thought I was on another Disneyland ride. Yep, he mentioned he drove pretty fast, but the lights were inhibiting him. Yep. That's like whenever you start driving fast and turning like pretty rapidly, you need to have the Indiana Jones ride audio on ready to go.
Yeah,
that's what I always. It's just in the back of my head. So, but at least you're here safe and sound.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next up, story-wise, though, speaking of Sam Raimi, a Tobey Maguire-focused Spider-Man 4 would focus on personal growth, says Sam Raimi. Meaning, hopefully, after the encounters in No Way Home, perhaps a change is made in his personal life. I don't know. There's been a lot of talk about a potential Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire coming, which would be awesome. And hopefully we'll get it.
Yeah, so, I don't think there can be too many Spider-Mans, to be honest, because they're all different in their own way. So I
got
give
the
it
Spider-Verse. Give them to us. I don't think anyone's really going to complain, except for the people who are like, another Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Shut up.
The Watchers have been moved up a week to June 7th, which I'm very interested in this movie. Looks very suspenseful and suspicious, and I'm all on board.
All the susses. Suspenseful and suspicious. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be pretty good, hopefully. It is, of course, by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, so very excited to see what she's able to do with her first film, if it is her first film. She may have done like a student project or something, but I think this is her first theatrical released film, which helps to have a dad in a high place like that.
Well, and trailers look really good as well. It doesn't give away anything, so I love that.
Yeah, trailers looking pretty good. Next up, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is getting a 2024 theatrical run. So if you do want to see the remastered versions of these films in theaters, if you're a mega diehard fan like I am, you can go see them in theaters. And I know, like Kevin, we've got the Lord of the Rings coming up on Movie Club at some point. I think it's coming up around Christmas time. So this might be a good way to go and see them, because that way, like, you're getting it on the big screen, and it's it's remastered. So I don't know. I mean, again, a lot of these kind of remasters and anniversaries and stuff, they're a great way to catch up movies if you haven't seen them in a while, or if you don't own them, or whatever it may be. So, I mean, hey, if you're a fan, go and see them.
Yeah, support them.
That's about it.
The Invisible Man 2 update given by Elizabeth Moss. I feel very good about it. which is good. I mean, the first one, really, really good adaptation of the Invisible Man with a twist on it. So I like to see what they do with number 2.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're just kind of waiting on Blumhouse and Universal again, kind of similar to Happy Death Day 3. So, yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about the first one. I do need to watch it.
Yeah, you need to watch it. I have it if you don't have it.
Going from good news to even better news, in my opinion, because it could be something even better. The status of Rebel Moon Part 3 is uncertain, which, I mean, the movie did debut and get to number 1 spot on Netflix, but it is quickly dropped, my friends, because I think it has a 1.8 or a 1.9 on Letterboxd right now. It is not a good movie. Do not watch it. I mean, unless you're curious, obviously, I'm not going to stop you from watching it. If it appeals to you, go ahead and watch it. But like, the fact that it's uncertain right now, as of like, you know, because it's been critically trashed, both critically and just regular viewers don't like it. I'm actually curious to see like what the Rotten Tomatoes is on it right now. I mean, I don't put a lot of stock in Rotten Tomatoes, as I've said before, but let's see here.
After watching Dumb Money, he wants to put stocks in everything. He wants to buy them all.
It has a 50% on for fans on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not very good. Yeah, even for a Snyder movie, the Snyder stands whatever are not doing a lot of work. But you know what? It is what it is.
Are you saying their stands aren't filling up?
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
No. All right. Rob Liefeld praises. I had it right. Praises Deadpool and Wolverine action scenes, best action since Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier has some great action scenes.
It does. One of the better ones in the MCU for sure. And for those of you who don't know, Rob Liefeld, I believe, Joey, you might have to correct me, is the creator of the character of Deadpool. Which actually in the trailer, the newest trailer, there is a kind of a joke at his expense. He's known for not being able to draw feet, so you always see people from the waist up or like the knees up. And there's a shop in the background called Leafield's Foot Parlor or something like that. It's really funny. But he took it in good stride. He loves the joke apparently, but he said he's given some good feedback on the movie. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. We'll have to wait and see when the movie comes out.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of hand-to-hand combat because Wolverine doesn't use guns. Deadpool uses guns, but he can also do close combat. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Again, like freaking tagline for the entire channel. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Next up, very excited, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, will be rated R, no surprise there, and is 2 hours and 28 minutes long, making it the longest film in the Mad Max franchise, which makes sense. From the trailer, there is a lot of time and ground covered, so that doesn't matter to me. I'm super excited. I'm ready to go see this with Kevin day one. We're going to go because we love Fury Road, so, I mean, we'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, make it 2 hours and 30 minutes. Give me that 2 extra minutes of backstory.
Just because it's a nice round number.
Yep, exactly. The Wild Robot has been delayed a week to my birthday, September 27th.
Hey, now I know what we're doing for your birthday. I believe that originally it was set to come out on the 20th, which was the same day that Transformers 1 was delayed to. Either it was delayed to the 20th or it was delayed to the 27th, and they're now competing on the same day. But they're coming out in the same month for sure. But I'm more excited about the Wild Robot. I think it looks way better. I think you agree too. So
I agree. Yep.
Very much excited for that. So. Next up, Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire has passed Godzilla vs. Kong's box office and is on track to be the highest-grossing film in the franchise yet, which is nuts because it's one of the lowest rated in terms of critic and fan response. So, very interested to see what the next film in the saga ends up being. We'll find out, but I mean, they're doing something right. People are going to go see it, and it has its fans. So.
Yeah, but they have so much more that they can explore as well.
There's so many more villainous monsters that haven't showed up yet.
It's endless. It's like Fast and the Furious. They'll be in space one day.
Give us some really good old Showa era stuff. I'm really ready for it.
A new Sleepy Hollow film is in the works at Paramount. Hopefully, it doesn't go to Paramount Plus.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, the last one we got was with Johnny Depp, which is Sleepy Hollow. For those of you who don't know, is kind of the version of the tale with the headless horseman.
Yep.
So, kind of really cool that we're getting a potential new version of it. I'm more excited to hear who is going to be directing and starring in it, though.
Yeah.
I think that'll make or break it. So,
have you seen the Johnny Depp one?
A long time ago. Yeah,
Oh,
I actually own the like novelization of it too, which was kind of
nice.
Last story for the day, though. This is just of like a couple hours ago. Jeff Bridges is going to be joining the cast of Tron Ares to reprise the role of Kevin Flynn, of course, the creator of Tron. Which
Nice.
Super excited. Back behind the scenes photo showed him reading through the script in his little like Jeff Bridges, the dude looking attire. So very excited to see what his role is going to be in the film and how it's going to work with everyone else that is in the film. So
Nice.
Yeah. Alrighty, and that is it for the stories this week. Let's go ahead and get into some of these comments here. Joy says, as long as no cops pulled you over.
That didn't happen if they didn't see it.
So, let's see here. And it was this year. Oh, I see for that last comment. So Rob Liefeld is the artist creator. Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'll double check on that. I'd rather see Zach stop making these Rebel Moon movies and go make something else. And don't give him no more than a $50 million budget. Yeah, highly agree. I want to see him do something smaller. That's not his kind of film, but I want to see him just do something a little bit more constrained, a little bit more smaller scale, smaller budget, for sure. I mean, he's got some talent. Don't get me wrong. I just want to see him do better, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Matt Walls again. I want Gaian, Megalon in the next movie since they brought in the Hollow Earth storyline, and would love to see Space Godzilla. I mean, come on. There's so many monsters they could bring in. And I mean, Gigan and Megalon, I think Geras, something like that.
Is that the three-headed dragon?
No, that's King Ghidorah.
Oh. See, like, we haven't even gotten him yet.
Yeah, he was in King of the Monsters.
Oh, did I not see that one? I'm missing one of them.
King of the Monsters one with Mothra first showed up, and Rodan was in it.
Oh,
and
no, that's the one I missed. I know I missed one of them, so I'll go watch that one then.
Clearly the one you missed. We'll show up next week. Alrighty, well, that is it for those comment section and for all the news stories this week. So let's go ahead and talk about all the trailers that came out this week. We did tease a couple of them in the stories. Kevin, did anything stand out to you this week? I know we did talk about Long Legs last week. It kind of got another quick 30-second trailer release. I mean, obviously, but have you seen anything else on here? Anything else is looking good to you?
Why is The Little Mermaid on here?
So The Little Mermaid is getting a horror version, kind of similar to Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
So that is what that is.
All right, I like it.
I did not watch it. So
I haven't watched any of it except for Long Legs. So all the other ones are new. I do want to check out Glassworker. That looks interesting. Yes. And then I'll probably check out Mufasa just to see what everything's going.
What all the hype's about. I am definitely going to say the Glassworker is my trailer of the week. Very much excited for this movie. It looks just like Ghibli, but very different. And so, again, very excited to see it. Also, Robot Dreams, which was another Academy Award nominated animated film last year with The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man. So that is finally coming to U.S. theaters. So very excited to check that out. And then, I mean, that's really it as far as good trailers. I think The Exorcism does not look that good, but maybe it was just the trailer. I don't know. But it is kind of cool to see like a meta version of the story behind The Exorcist put into a movie.
Okay.
Kind of, it's weird. And it's not supposed to be the story behind The Exorcist, but it's similar. So, yeah. But that's about it for the trailers this week. Not a whole lot of really interesting stuff, but, hey, we can't get a good thing every week. Atlas is the worst trailer for a movie I've seen in a while. Yeah, Atlas does not look good either. I didn't know I needed a sci-fi war movie with Jennifer Lopez.
Oh my gosh. That just sounds...
I mean, I like me some Jennifer Lopez, sure, but not in a Ender's Game Dune-looking ripoff movie. I don't need that. She's not Lisan Al-Gaib, okay? Leave it alone. But let's go ahead, Kevin. We have, between the two of us, we have a lot of movies that we actually watched this week. So let's go ahead. Last week I started out. We'll go ahead and start off with you this week with a pretty big one.
Bumblebee. Yeah, I saw this on Paramount Plus when I was just strolling on through. Decided to watch it, and it's really, really good. It's a really good prequel to Transformers, and I wish I would have gone kind of this route with the other Transformers, but they didn't. But that's okay.
Mhm.
You live and you learn. But I gave it an 85 out of 100. I want to see more Transformers like this one. It was very true to heart, and I so for some reason I don't like when Bumblebee talks in the first two Transformers movies. So him talking less with his radio really actually I enjoyed it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a great movie, and honestly, like that tone does kind of carry through into like Rise of the Beasts and stuff. And I can appreciate that they're taking a little bit more of a lighter tone with the films instead of like the super heavy Michael Bay, everything's blowing up kind of a thing. But yeah, it's just a good movie, and I recommend it if you're a Transformers fan, or even if you're not. So next up is going to be my first one for this week, which is Galaxy Quest, a movie that I had actually never seen and really enjoyed. Galaxy Quest is, of course, this kind of parody of Star Trek, but not really. It's about a crew of actors who make a TV show just like Star Trek called Galaxy Quest, and they do get roped into an actual space journey and have to use their memory of the show and stuff to kind of get by. It is a really fun movie, but it is really dependent on its cast, and the cast is so good. You have Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, Tony Shalhoub. Oh my gosh, I am forgetting his name. Anyhow, there's so many good actors in this movie. So many people you're like, you're in this movie? It's a lot of fun. It's definitely not perfect, but it doesn't take itself seriously. It's the right tone. It's the right amount of silly and serious, and it's a really good time. And I had never seen it all the way through, and I am glad that I did.
Yep. My next one would be Abigail, that just came out. Really fantastic. I was going to call her a demon vampire movie with twists and turns and some unexpected things that were really nice. Blood and gore, guts galore is amazing in this movie. So I gave it a 95 out of 100. Nadia and I both loved this movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Not necessarily, I wouldn't say it's like one of the best movies of the year, definitely, but I think it is a lot of fun. And if you're looking for something different to watch, it's one of the better vampire movies we've gotten in a while.
Yeah,
that's gonna be your ticket. Next up for me, man, this week was a roller coaster. Was Piranha 3D, a movie that I saw in theaters when I was in high school and loved it back then, and absolutely hate it now. But it does have two good points for me. The first thing is that the film does not hold back on the gore or the way that people die. Like if you're a horror fan who loves the deaths and the kills and all that, this movie has got them, and it's kind of sickening at some points. It's really graphic. It is kind of a kill heaven. Also, the cast, they're not good in this movie, but they feel like they're having so much fun, which I can really respect. It's not a great movie, and it doesn't feel like anyone making the film was having fun, but the people who were in it knew exactly what they were reading, and they just they loved it. But the rest of this movie, it's not scary. There's no real plot. It's just here's a situation where people and piranhas are. Also, literally, this movie is so incredibly misogynistic. 99% of the women in this movie exist just to be naked or to dance around in bikinis, and it's and they're used as items. It is genuinely sickening in this movie. It's disgusting. I needed one of those Indiana Jones and Crystal Skull nuke shower scrubbings after watching this movie. It was absolutely terrible. I want to see the director's other work because I've heard good things about him, Alexander Aja. But man, this movie's bad. Don't watch it. It was on Tubi, and I was like, oh, I should watch it because I remember liking it in high school. And don't watch it.
Hey, it was free, so it's
okay.
It
was free. So there you
go. Next one for me was Sonic the Hedgehog. I wanted to check these out because Keanu is playing Shadow in Sonic 3, so might as well check out this Sonic. I gave it a 64 out of 100. Very kiddie. I mean, of course, it's going to be a kid's movie with Sonic and everything, really slapstick jokes, saw everything coming before it happened, everything like that. But still, really fun movie to watch.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard good things from fans of the series about it. So it's one of those movies that I've been definitely looking forward to checking out. Alrighty. You thought the last one was bad. It has been a very long time since I have given a 0 out of 100. And ladies and gentlemen, the next 0 out of 100 goes to Piranha 3DD, the sequel to Piranha 3D, which is worse in every conceivable way. Again, this movie is like, it is so disgustingly misogynistic. This film, like the last one was just misogynistic, right? Like all the women are in bikinis or they're like, and they're treated terribly, whatever. This movie is like vehemently anti-woman. It is just so like disgusting. There's literally a part where the main character's stepdad is like, "You're reading too many of those science books. You need to read some more princess stories." And she's like 25. Like, it's disgusting. This movie sucks. The kills are nowhere near as good. I've had people say that it's more gory than the last one. It's not. Like this one, don't watch it. This is like cinematic trash. Like I'd rather watch Piranha 3D again, and that is saying something. Mm-hmm. So yeah, don't watch 3DD. Just don't do it. Let's get into something a little bit better though, Kevin.
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which was I somehow made this higher than Sonic the Hedgehog 1, which I didn't think I did, but I did like the lore behind a little bit more of the Sonic characters. Granted, we didn't get Tails' backstory as much as I wanted to, but we did get Knuckles in this one and Tails, and they all become the big trio bump at the end. Really cool. And then again, Jim Carrey, I think, does a better job in this movie than the first movie. He's more evil in this movie, and he cracks a little bit more adultish jokes in this movie as well. So definitely watch both movies back to back. I watched, and it was perfect.
Okay, there you go. Next up for me, it was a short documentary available on YouTube that wasn't much better than the previous two movies I'd watched, called H.H. Holmes, about America's first serial killer. This was just like a short documentary available for free through YouTube's like free movie stuff. And I mean, it's got some cool information about a person that I never knew about, but other than that, it just uses a bunch of cheap and haphazard recreations that feel just really poorly made. And it honestly, like, it goes by so fast, it kind of feels like they're going to quiz you at the end of it. It's really odd, and it's just not fun to watch. Like, I don't know, like if you're curious, check it out. They could have just made this into like a 50-page pamphlet you get at like a Chicago tourist destination or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't watch it.
So who was the main actor, or who was the main killist in this thing? It just pops up with a random question you have to answer.
Yeah, it's like the title of the movie. Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. I can see that on YouTube. But yeah, let's take another step in the right direction, Kevin.
Yep. Late Night with the Devil. Nadia saw it before me, said it was on Shudder, decided to check it out, and man, did I love this movie. It was so good in my eyes, in my opinion. So I really liked it. The backstory to it was very nice. We got to know a little bit more about the people inside of it, except for some of them. They were kind of like not thrown under the table, but here's a little bit of backstory, and that's it.
Intentionally vague.
Yeah, but when everything started, when shit hits the fan, pretty much, it shits the fan hard, and I loved it. And then the aesthetic behind it, like everybody was in like, what is it, 80s or 70s? I forget.
It was like the 70s. Yeah.
70s, yeah.
Like 60s, 70s.
Everybody plays that part, and even having, I was watching it on my computer, and it made the screen like small, like mine is right now, to make it more authentic, I guess. Love that as well.
Yeah, I absolutely, I love the movie too. I think we talked about it like a couple weeks ago. One of my kind of top movies of the year so far, just because of like, I like how fresh it feels and how like interesting, like the way that it's shot and everything. And I totally agree. I think it's a great movie.
And when the demon comes out too, it's not your typical thing, which is really cool.
It's really interesting. Yeah, the way they chose to do it.
Did you notice anything that was in like the pixelated too?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That was pretty obvious. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it in theater, so it was like right there.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought that was very, very interesting how they were just like, okay, here it is, but that's all you get, and I love that.
Yeah. Next up for me is a movie that I'm ashamed to admit that I'd never seen all the way through, but I kind of knew all the big points of, and just finally watched with my roommates last night, which was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I really like this movie. I mean, the cast is awesome here. I mean, I think it's Matthew Broderick's best performance by far. Also, an incredible script. The dialogue just feels so good, kind of like a Tarantino movie. How good the dialogue feels and how natural it feels. Side characters are great, but I think the only complaint I really have is the parade scene. It just goes on for way too long, and I think that having 2 songs is a little bit too much. Probably could have cut down time a little bit. But it's a minor complaint in a thoroughly enjoyable movie. If you've never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off before, it's a great one, and it helps make me nostalgic for a time period that I didn't live through. So, yeah, absolutely, I really enjoyed this movie. So
I have to watch it still, so can't comment on that. No, mine was from my poster that Nadia got me for Christmas or my birthday. I forget which one it is. And it's a scratch-off poster. Saw Pirates of the Caribbean and Curse of the Black Pearl on there. Let's get it done. Let's see how it is. And man, did I forget how good this movie was. Like, really good. I didn't know how long it was either. I thought it was like an hour and 30 minutes. It's like 2 hours and 30-minute movie, but it doesn't feel like that way, which is great. And there's one part in this movie where Barbossa and Captain Jack Sparrow are fighting, and it transitions from skeleton to human flesh perfectly. I was like, wow, that is great right there. So and then obviously the twist at the end, not at the end, but like in the middle, when Jack is already a skeleton, which I forgot that even happened, so that was cool to relive that moment.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. It's literally it's nearly perfect. Like it really is. Next up for me, actually, a movie I watched pretty recently as of today is Exodus: Gods and Kings, Ridley Scott biblical epic movie. A lot of people forget this movie came out, but this movie is really interesting because it is obviously a version of the religious myth of Moses. That is not the superior Moses movie, which is The Prince of Egypt. This one, though, does have a pretty great cast of lead actors in Christian Bale and Joel Edgerton. However, yes, the movie does whitewash these actors, which is really unfortunate. They should have hired actors who actually have the descent necessary to play these characters, but for what they have and what the actors that they do have, it really works though for me. But the biggest problem with this movie is that they go for the more epic route, and because of that, it is longer, it is more drawn out, and it commits the sin of being boring. This movie just is a slog to get through. It's 2.5 hours long of like this ancient history. Just like it's just not as interesting as I think they want it to be. I do appreciate some more epic scale battles. The plague scenes are more grandiose than other kind of versions of the Moses story. So at the end of the day, though, it's just a boring movie. Go watch Prince of Egypt or the Ten Commandments instead. Those are far better films. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Well, here is my Wheel of Fate. This was by Joey, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Joey. It was Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, 1998 film. It's only an hour film, so I gave it a 50 out of 100. I never really grew up with Batman animated series or anything like that, so it was not hard for me to get into it. It was nostalgic in a way as how it was drawn up and everything, and going back, I'm like, oh yeah, this is how cartoons used to be, or animations used to be as well. But the plot of the story was interesting, but it never really, I knew everything that was going to happen except for the surprise ending. I won't spoil it for anybody if they want to go see it, but it was still really good. I gave it, I already said it, 50 out of 100. Sure,
yeah, and I would probably recommend, I honestly don't know what Joey thinks this one. I would recommend Mask of the Phantasm more, which is just legitimately one of the best Batman movies ever. So
okay.
Highly recommend that one, and it's very much the same style.
Okay.
And then that brings us to my Wheel of Fate movie, which was Glory from 1989, the Civil War movie. I had never seen it before watching it, so that was kind of interesting. I think it's a good film, but I don't think it's necessarily a great one. It does have some pretty impressive battle sequences, especially towards the end of the movie. The cast is awesome, specifically the people in the supporting roles. Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, Carrie Elways, the late Andre Braugher are all fantastic in this movie. However, my biggest complaint about this movie is that Matthew Broderick is awful in this movie. I really don't like him in this movie. I think he is miscast. I think he is the wrong choice to play the character. And he's just really blank and bland and just boring to watch. It's also, but I will say, it is nice to have a Civil War movie that doesn't glorify the South, because I feel like we get a lot of them that like are like, I was a good old Southern boy, instead of actually, that they were assholes. And so this portrays them as the bad guys. The biggest criticism is that it takes way too long to get to any action. It does feel a little bit drawn out, but it is character building time, so it does make sense, especially with the side characters. The cinematography is also great. The score from James Horner is fantastic, but it just drags a little bit too much for me. And Matthew Broderick is not a good lead pick for this movie. Not that he's a bad actor, he's just a bad pick for this movie. But it kind of leads me to this kind of big thing, is that a lot of people don't like this movie because it's telling the story of the 54th Regiment, which is one of the first all-black regiments in the U.S. military, and it should be from their perspective, not from two white guys' perspectives over it, which kind of feels a little disingenuous. But this is 1989. We can't change the past, unfortunately. But if we were to get a remake of this film or a new version, it should definitely be from the soldier's point of view, and I think it would make it a better film.
Nice.
But those are it for our review movie this week. That took a while to get through. Sorry, everyone. But if you want to check out our letterbox, there is mine. Those are also going to be underneath our names at any point during the show, so you can check those out. But we do have a lot of comments to get to because we had a lot of movies. So let's go ahead and talk about it here. Galaxy Quest is so good. Me and my dad watch that movie all the time. It was a great time. Highly recommend. Kevin, maybe watch it this week.
Okay.
Garrett saw Piranha Tiggies.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't piranhas tiggies. They were like people who probably weren't paid enough to be in that movie, tiggies. But anyway. Kept asking during Sonic 2, why are we focusing so much on the wedding? Where is Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles?
True. That's a good point, but it has a point to it, because I won't spoil anything. But I understand it, but then I agree with you. It was a little bit too much on the wedding.
Sure. Matt Walls love the first three Pirates movies. Just love those movies.
I have to rewatch the other two because I don't remember them too well.
I agree. I think the third one is the weakest of the three, though. I know a lot of people hold it on such a high pedestal. I do not think that movie is as good as the first two. I think the fourth movie is actually better than the third one, personally. My personal opinion. 2.5 hours. Try watching the TV cut of 10 Commandments with commercials. It's like 6 hours long. Yeah, it's true. But that one is a classic for a reason. So, Batman the Animated Series did make Freeze into a sympathetic villain in the series, which rejuvenated the character.
I mean, you feel very bad about what's happening with his wife in this movie, and I'm a medical assistant, so all the medical terms were like, oh, that's cool that they're using like this kind of terms, and they're trying to find the right blood type, all that stuff. That was interesting to me. And I did feel bad for Mr. Freeze. Yeah, I was going to call him Dr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze in this movie, because everything just doesn't fall his way.
Yeah. No, it makes the character a lot more interesting, for sure. This is from Joey. I can say that I do not agree with any of your points, Garrett, but you review it as you see it. Also, I believe Glory is based on Shaw's diaries. Yes, it is based on Shaw's diaries and letters. Doesn't make him an interesting character, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure the diaries are more interesting than his part in the movie. And again, it's not that the character is bad. I think it's just Matthew Broderick is the wrong pick. He's just not interesting. So, and I don't think anyone can argue. That movie should have been from the soldier's point of view and celebrating their story instead of some dude who died 2 battles in and didn't even get to lead them the rest of the way. So, I don't know. But it's still a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's still a good movie. But it just, 72 is still a 72. Alrighty. Well, that is going to be it for all of the movies that we watched over the course of last week. Let's go ahead and dive into the box office figures. We've got some surprises this week, Kevin.
No surprise here. Challengers at 15 million. Unsung Heroes, that's the one that I'm not too worried about, is or not known about is 7.8 million. Godzilla vs. Kong: The New Empire still holding on to that top 3 place with the 7.2 million. Civil War gets bumped down 7 million by Kong, and Abigail barely squeaks into the top 5 with 5.3 million. So Abigail took a big turn.
Yeah, Civil War took a big tumble as well.
Mhm.
But I think the Zendaya fandom's too strong. We got Challengers coming out with 15 million on its opening weekend, which is pretty big for an independent, or I don't know if it's independent, but like drama kind of that kind of film. But hey, maybe it's going to get some sort of award season kind of propulsion. We'll see. Unsung Hero is like some country band, King and Country or something like that, is their autobiographical story. I honestly did not think that was going to show up in the top 5 whatsoever, but I guess they have enough fans that it did show up. And then obviously Godzilla X Kong, really surprising to see it still on here, but the movie is really persisting. I guess we got a market for it. So
I mean, I think word of mouth is actually getting out with Godzilla versus Kong, and that's why it's still up there too.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of interesting. It's really for sure. So I feel like there's a lot of good word of mouth with Godzilla -1, and that did not get nearly as much as Godzilla X Kong, but we'll see. Matt Wallace, Matthew Broderick was the worst pick for Godzilla 98. Yeah, he's really bad in that movie too. I don't blame Hit for that though. I just blame a bad character. He also just was a bad pick in the movie. He's not like an action lead, so I don't know why he was in that movie. But let's go ahead and talk about the movies that are coming out this weekend, and we got some big ones. First up is The Fall Guy. A down-and-out stuntman must find the missing star of his ex-girlfriend's blockbuster film. Really looking forward to this. Has a 78 on Metacritic so far, which is pretty high given the kind of Metacritic's average kind of scoring system. Really excited for this movie. Can't wait to go check it out. It's got a lot of positive buzz from other directors in the industry, so very much looking forward to that, of course. After that is going to be Tarot, a new horror movie. When a group of friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. Pretty excited to see this one. The creator of the popular Siren Head character on like YouTube and kind of internet lore created the designs for the creatures in this movie. So
that's cool.
Very excited about that, and it looks very different. We haven't had like a tarot horror movie as far as I know. Nadia might fact check me, I could be wrong. But it looks like it's going to be a really interesting, kind of different kind of horror movie. After that is Mars Express, a new animated movie coming out. Set in the 23rd century on Mars, the plot follows the investigation on a murder case carried out by the couple formed by a private investigator, Aline Ruby, and her android companion, Carlos Rivera. Very excited for this one. It looks very visually distinct, probably one of the more visually distinct Western animated films coming out this year, so very excited for that one. Up after that is Evil Does Not Exist, which is a new Japanese film from the director of Drive My Car, which won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film a couple of years ago. Takumi and his daughter Hana live in the Mizubiki village close to Tokyo. One day, the village inhabitants become aware of a plan to build a camping site near Takumi's house, offering city residents a comfortable escape to nature. This looks really interesting. It's got some really good kind of press coming out about it. It's got a 79 on Metacritic, so some high scores, maybe worth a shot if you want something a little more different and more challenging to watch, as in like a drama kind of challenging way, not like a foreign film being challenging. After that is I Saw the TV Glow, which a couple of us have been pretty excited about seeing after the trailers. Two teenagers bond over their love of a supernatural TV show, but it is mysteriously canceled. This is actually very surprising. This has a 87 on Metacritic.
Ooh.
And worth to note that this is going to be advanced showings that are kind of showing up this week, kind of like early release. The full like wide release will be on May 17th, 2024. But if you're lucky like us, sometimes there are theaters nearby that will show this like 2 weeks early. Like for us, the big one nearby may show it. I don't want to exactly reveal.
Oh, I gotcha.
But yeah, so very excited to see those two movies, and yeah. But that is it for all the movies that are coming out this week. Hopefully, you guys have a plan for any ones that you want to go watch.
Yep.
But that, of course, is going to bring it to one of our favorite times of the episode or of the stream, which is, of course, the Wheel of Fate. So make sure that you go ahead and get in those movie suggestions to get into the Wheel of Fate. And Kevin, there's a surprise this week. I've actually had some people tell me movies that they would like to appear on the Wheel of Fate. So I already have some movies on the Wheel of Fate for us that are quite different than the kind of movies that we typically get. So very exciting to see what happens, including our good friend Adrian, who used to host the show, did submit a movie on the list. But let's go ahead and get some of these in here. We have Return of the Living Dead.
Sleepaway Camp.
Give me 1 second. Sleepaway Camp. We got Village of the Damned. I feel like we're getting the same movies.
Yeah, a little bit of it, yeah.
One Missed Call. And we got Chopping Mall. Little Man. Basket Case. Vampires from 1998. So I misspelled vampires. Let's see here. Near Dark. And then From Dusk Till Dawn. An interesting one there. I've actually seen From Dusk Till Dawn. I don't think I've reviewed it, though. I'd have to double check.
I haven't seen it.
Excuse me. And then that was about it. How's Adrian doing? Adrian's doing good. I was working a lot, so kind of good for him. He's doing pretty darn well. But if anyone has any other movies, please go ahead and get them in now. We'll give it a little bit more time.
Are you going to go see Fall Guys coming up?
You keep saying Fall Guys. It is
Fall Guy. The Fall Guy.
Yeah, I'll probably go see that. I imagine maybe Thursday night. Maybe, I don't know. I do want to see it this coming weekend, so I know you want to watch it too. We got Matt Walls to here. Old Henry.
Mm-hmm. What was I going to say? Nadia and I might go see Tarot, because that looks very interesting.
Gotcha. Oh, Dance with Wolves director's cut. Very specific.
I don't think it does it specify on Google like director's cut and stuff.
It should usually.
Okay.
If it's like a well-known director's cut, yeah. All right, we'll give it another minute or so. If you want to go, if anyone has any more that you would like to submit, please get those in. Kevin, I actually do want to propose. Would you be interested in doing 2 movies this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to do just one?
Nope, let's do it. I have off tomorrow and Wednesday, so
Kevin wants to do 2. Well, remember, we do have to do movie club this week. You still got to watch that one.
I got to do that. I'm watching that one tonight, so
I'm very excited to talk about that one. You'll all find out what that is. Any other suggestions? We do have about 30 seconds left. It's a pretty full wheel, but we can go ahead and get a couple more on there.
May I ask who else put their things in? Movies
in? Of course. My cousin put a couple movies in, and my coworker put some movies in.
Matt
Walsh. If Nadia wins again, I want my money back. Again, I don't know where all this money is coming from.
Yeah.
We're not seeing any of it, for sure. And if people are profiting off our stream, that's not a good idea.
No return.
Alrighty. That has been a minute. We'll go ahead and cut it there. So no more after Nadia's no returns comments. Let's go ahead and I got to share my screen here real quick. The Wheel of Names. Alrighty.
Oh my gosh, that is full.
It is a full one this week. Alrighty. I don't remember who went first last week, so we'll say Kevin going first. Okay. Kevin's first movie. Kevin, what's your first movie going to be? Plane? Oh, it's Chopping Mall.
I don't think I've seen it, but I haven't reviewed it yet. So.
Okay.
Actually, I should check while you spin.
Well, maybe we should double check first, because we can always spin again. We'll wait.
Judge ruling. Oh, no, I have not. I have not done it. So, okay.
Alrighty. That is a win again.
Wait, yeah, it's not
For
even.
Nadia. Nadia gets another win. So, alrighty. We're going to go ahead and we're shuffling this up again. And my first pick for this week is... Drum roll. I almost don't want to know what it's going to be. Chef.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a recommendation from my coworker. So, very excited. I actually really like that movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it. So, very excited to check that out.
Overcooked 2 Simulator.
Alrighty, Kevin's second movie is... What is Kevin's movie going to be this time? Is it going to be Nadia again?
Oh.
Anyone But You.
Okay.
Which is now available on
Netflix. Who gave me that?
That was my coworker again,
Oh,
actually.
dang.
Yeah, he's coming in clutch right now. Congratulations, Twan, if you're watching that later. Alrighty, and the last one is, of course, my second pick this week. We're going to go ahead and shuffle that up, and it is... Nervous. Death Proof, which is actually my cousin's submission. So, alrighty. That's one of the few Tarantino movies I have not seen. So, very excited about that.
Man,
But-
I have like short-term memories and loss. What did I have for my second one?
You have Chopping Mall and Anyone But You.
Okay. That's
Two movies with so much in common that it is going to hurt when you
Yeah.
watch it. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that is it for this week in terms of all the kind of scheduled content that we have. We got 4 movies in addition to whatever our movie club is for this week to watch. That is going to be a lot of movie watching. So, very excited to get some different movies in there. So, but yes, of course, Nadia retaining her crown as the most picked person ever. Congratulations, Nadia. With 1 out of 4. Not too bad, especially with how many movies we had in that wheel.
Yeah.
And we got to watch. Well, you know what? Hey, I'm shuffling it. It's random. I'm sorry, Matt.
House always wins, Matt.
To be fair, you probably put in the least number of movies out of everyone with only 2. So I would probably come up with a good list, maybe like 5 to 6 for next week, if you want to go ahead and throw them in there.
Yeah, make them fill up that wheel. We don't care.
Fill it up. I mean, like the more like narrow they are, like the more like you don't know what it's going to be.
What is that?
I have no idea what Nadia just said.
I read it as "I'm fat, Matt." I'm fat.
I don't know what that means. Please elaborate.
Oh, she just misspelled.
Oh my god. Yeah, I read that as I'm fap. I'm like,
fap.
what? I refuse to put more than 3 on principle, maybe 4. Hey, you know what? How do you think,
it won last week though.
You did win last. You won 2. You won both last week. Actually.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, but I mean, Nadia always puts like 7, which is why she gets a whole lot. And then my coworker Twan put in like 6, 7. So it's like, that's the way to get the system. There's a better chance you're going to be being picked if you put a lot on there.
I was trying to read all of the movies on there, and it was going too fast.
So we had obviously the ones that have been talked about today, but there's also American Sniper was on there. 3,000 Years of Longing, The 100-Foot Journey, Drive with Ryan Gosling, Greyhound with Tom Hanks, it's a World War II movie, Air Bud 3, World Pup.
Man.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Beekeeper, War Games, and Free Solo were the ones that were on there that were not
nice.
But before we head out for the night, Kevin, what have you been like? Is there anything you've been watching, playing, doing anything in the meantime while we're going to be closing out for the night?
No, not really. I mean, yesterday we played Siege and some Overcooked, but that's pretty much it. Not really doing anything Schoolwork, obviously, and then watching my movies, and then I don't know if we're gonna watch wrestling tonight, but maybe wrestling.
Hey, you got a movie to watch for Movie Club.
Oh, I know. Well, I know. Wrestling is like in the background. Wrestling, you don't really need to watch it.
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't have replica belts or anything.
Matt Walls, I've been wanting to play some Dark Souls. Hey, go and do it.
Ooh,
One of the best series ever.
I would need like 7 controllers if I played that game.
Are you a fan of the series already, Matt? Like, or is this like something you just want to get into? Because I love those games. I've played all of them. I haven't beaten all of them, but I've played all of them. So
I've watched somebody play them all and beat them all because I can't play them.
It's nuts when you watch people play like Dark Souls 3 on Rock Band drums and they beat it.
What the heck?
Yeah,
I've seen like level 1 completions or like speed runs and stuff like that are really interesting to watch on those games.
Oh yeah, but watching people play it on like Guitar Hero guitars or like Rock Band drums and beating the game is so good. Like it's just like that is just a skill that is not necessary to have.
No, but they have it.
Did you end up finishing Fallout?
No, I'm still on the 4th episode. I know.
Matt Walls, I've played all of them. I've beaten Dark Souls 2. Well, at least you got the least good one out of the way. Highly recommend Dark Souls. Dark Souls 3 is, I think, the best of the Souls games. Bloodborne is probably the best of all the FromSoft games, and then Elden Ring is like a close second. Really,
they're all made by the same company, though, right?
Yeah, From Software.
Okay.
Actually, I realized the only one I haven't played is Sekiro, or Sekiro, whatever how you pronounce it. I have not played that one.
I've heard that one's good. I haven't watched any of that one yet.
Yeah, very different to normal Souls kind of like ways to play. So, but well, fun. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this week. It's a blast as always to have you here. We've got a pretty great little spread of movies to do this week. So again, thank you all for watching us. Of course, we do have our movie club coming out this week, which this week is going to be our review of Shutter Island, which is a very interesting movie and not your typical Martin Scorsese movie. So we do talk about that coming up this week. Next week is going to be a really good one. Can't wait to talk about it. So there is that. And of course, this live stream goes live every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and announce it. Real Watchers is getting a website.
Oh, yeah.
So we are going to have realwatchers.com, which you can go, and that will have a database of my and Kevin's reviews, as well as blog posts, other kinds of content. We may do news articles whenever we can. Obviously, we're not doing this as a job, so it's just going to be kind of a passion project. But also, one thing we want to do with the website is have a section for double features. So every time we've talked about on Movie Club or here on the show, like any kind of movie that would be good with another movie and kind of making it something you can do, that'll be on the website as well. So that's just kind of a soft announcement. It's not live yet. You can't go check it out. So, don't go looking for it because it's not live at all. But it will be coming, and we will let you know when it is live because it's going to be a labor of love, and we can't wait for everyone to check it out. So, but thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week at the same time, same place, and of course, Movie Club on Friday. So until then, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen. Have a good night, everyone.